Now recording the January 13th, 2016 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday 13th.
Oh, that's right. Happy Friday 13th. Ooh, scary.
Oh, that's right.
My Friday the 13th has been okay. It was the rest of the month getting to here that was the problem. Between cold and flat tires, oh my gosh, it's been a fun month for me.
Jeez.
I just put up the video for the crashing in the Space Needle.
Oh, you did? Awesome.
I'll have to post that later. So Joanne, let's start with you.
Yes, my dear.
You've had a couple things happen. We'll start with the easy one. Error resolution. You are no longer malformed.
Yeah, well, supposedly I have to double check it to see because I just got the email the other day. But so my previous issue was in using QuickBooks Online. There are a lot of users who are running it in the Chrome browser. Whenever you would
recommend it.
Most people are. When you're going in and attempting to edit a transaction that's already in the register, say you wanted to change the category that it's going to, or change the bank account that's being paid for, anything like that, and then you would go to save, you are getting an error message that would basically show up red, and it says URI malformed. And so I had done a couple of different calls, and the first call it didn't work out too well. They said they would look into it, and their solution was just use a different browser. was the solution until they worked on it. So the next time I called, I talked to somebody. I got it kind of escalated to talk to somebody who actually knew what they were talking about in the tech department. They said they definitely know that it's an issue. They definitely know it's solely within the Chrome browser, but they did not know why, like what was causing the issue, and the tech support team was working on it. The engineers were working on it. So I had asked them, I said, can I get notified as to when it's corrected? And I also would be curious as to why, like what caused it. Was it something in the QuickBooks software? Was it something else within Chrome? What was it? So I finally received an email, and the issue ended up being the extension for LastPass, the Chrome extension. Evidently, the Chrome extension for LastPass, there was something with them not being updated for something inside of Chrome, and you needed to just basically make sure you either disable and then re-able that Chrome extension for LastPass to get it to work again. And if you still had the problem with it, worst case scenario is you just disable LastPass while you're using QBO. So that was the solution for that. I haven't yet tested it yet, because since I've gotten the email, I haven't had a chance to test it to see if it works. But fingers crossed, I can report next week as to if it actually works or not. Because I've been using Mozilla inside of QBO for a lot of these clients, and it's just...
I know. I don't like Mozilla either.
I like it better in Chrome.
Yeah.
So Joanne, when you would use a different browser though that doesn't have your LastPass extension, would you not get the error?
No, I didn't have I only have my LastPass in Chrome.
Right, but so when you would use a different browser that doesn't have LastPass, would it not have an error? So it would work? That was
Correct.
The solution?
Correct.
Well, because I'm getting something very similar to that. So I'm going to try that.
Yeah, it's a workaround right now. So they said, like, in order for you to get the work done, just use a different browser, was basically what they said. It's only with LastPass. According for them, it was only happening in Chrome. So this URI malformed issue was only showing up in Chrome. It wasn't showing up in any other browsers. And the solution is because of LastPass that's actually inside of Chrome.
Yeah, exactly. And I have that. I have LastPass in almost all my Chrome extensions in my users. So I'm going to try that, because I'm getting an error like that. It's not that one, but it is a bold red one that I get for something else, and I get it a lot. It's really obnoxious. I'm going to try exactly that. I'm going to try it in a different a completely different browser that doesn't have LastPass in it and see if that fixes the issue.
Yeah, and
I
then
didn't think about that.
and then try disabling like disable LastPass, then
Right.
go in, then log into your QBO file and see if it does it with the
Okay.
extension disabled. Try that.
Okay, cool.
Well, you don't
And
want to
then-
leave your LastPass disabled.
What's that?
You don't want to leave your LastPass.
No, but when you're just working inside of QBO,
Yeah.
you always do a separate Chrome browser just for like a separate Chrome user just for QBO without LastPass in there.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I have. Yeah, that's what I have. But sometimes I have my LastPass in that one, so I can just take that extension out completely. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to test it and see if I still get those errors because I
Yeah.
get those red ones too.
Yeah, let
Okay,
me
cool.
know. Let me know how it works.
Okay. To be continued.
To be continued. So the other issue that I had that I came up with just this week is I had a desktop client who got a message inside of their they're using QBO 16 Pro, and they got a message that they hit their name limit, and it was
QBO?
I'm sorry, QuickBooks Desktop.
Oh, okay.
And they
yes.
no longer could add a vendor. They couldn't add a vendor, an other name, a customer. They couldn't do anything like that inside of the file. It basically said you have to get rid of stuff, or you have to upgrade to enterprise to be able to get more, more
I
names.
think that was a large number.
It's 14,500.
God, that's a lot.
So yes, and they hit it, but because the reason why they hit it is because they were doing something that they didn't know they were doing wrong, because the person who did the file before, the person who owned the business was doing it this way. They just continued to do it. And every year I always ask them, why are you doing it this way? And they just said, well, we don't mind it. We like it. Well, what they were doing was they would have a client, and they would do work for them, and then they would go to invoice them. Well, instead of just going into the client customer center and doing an invoice, what they were doing is they were creating a sub job called the invoice number, and then invoicing them from that sub job. So they have literally customers with like 500 jobs. Because they've been doing work for these people for years. So what they had tried to do, because evidently for some reason they didn't want to call me first, which they found out was their biggest mistake, is they tried searching online for tech support for QuickBooks. I believe that the number that they called was not actually Intuit. Because there's so many sites that look like they're Intuit QuickBooks support sites. And they talked to somebody that was trying to sell them on a data condensed or upgrading them to enterprise, and the prices that he was mentioning was just kind of outrageous. So what I ended up doing is I reached out into one of the groups for some help, and Stacy Byrne actually did a quick little consult with me, because I've never had to do this before, but the solution was to do a condense. And so what I learned from the condensed procedure is that, first of all, it's easier to be done inside the accountant's edition than just on their own desktop. So what I did was I went to their office, I took a full backup of the file, brought it back to my office, restored it, and then I went through the condensed procedure, which was fairly easy to do. I removed everything from January 1st, 2013 back, it went back to like 2008. And it cut down their names it cut it in half.
Wow.
So now they're down to 7,000 names, and I'm going to go back Monday, put the file back on their computer, excuse me. And then I'm going to walk her through the procedure, how to merge jobs together. So I'm going to have her merge all the jobs to like one job, that everything that's paid in full, and then I'm going to have her inactivate that one job. So that way it'll clean up their customer list moving forward, and I've taught them how to do it the right way moving forward.
So they have 7,000 of these records.
They still have 7,000 names they have to get rid of, but the condensed did a great job with removing old payees, old vendors they no longer work with, customers, and any names that they're no longer using in 13 through 17. if they haven't used them in those 4 years, they're just automatically deleted from the file. And so that's how it condensed the name count practically in half. So they were very happy with that.
And you didn't cost them their arm and their leg.
Well, I haven't billed them yet, but he jokingly said something, well, I don't know if I expect to pay you because it did take about an hour and a half for the condensed thing to work.
Yes, and that actually is not a long time for that process.
And he goes, well, I don't expect to pay you for the hour and a half you sat there watching your computer. And I go, would you like your file back? Because you're gonna pay for this condense.
That's right.
How much to that guy want to charge you over the phone? $800 or $900 to do a condense?
Right. There you go.
How much is the hour and a half of my time worth for you?
That's right. Exactly.
He's like, yeah, you're right.
Good. Good.
What was the thinking in the first place? Why they were doing
because the guy who owned the business before him did it that way, and he just kept on.
So it was a mistake. They didn't do the proper procedure.
It's called monkey see, monkey do, Larry. Monkey see, monkey do. And I kept on telling him every year, you realize you don't have to do it like this. You do not need a sub job for every single invoice. And he goes, yeah, I know, but I don't mind doing it that way. I've told him it literally and I've been doing his work since 2009.
Okay.
So,
and he's finally, when he's up against the wall, listening to you.
He gets it now.
Yeah, when all else fails, listen to Joanne.
That's right. WWJD, what would Joanne do?
You should have told him at the hour and a half that something could have gone wrong during the condense, and you had to monitor it.
I'm just going to send him a bill, and if he doesn't pay, I'm going to bring a bill with me, and if he doesn't pay for it, he's not getting his file.
There you go. That works too. And actually, I don't know that he really needs all that detail. All he needs to know is his file works now, and
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
And going forward, he'll be doing it right now, and he'll understand and listen to you.
Yeah.
Going forward.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes that pain to get their attention.
Yeah. There was one other issue that we were kind of talking in another Zoom that we had earlier today. Sarah was part of the conversation with regards to QBO. So I thought I would bring it up here to see if anybody else has any comments or any information on it. But Sarah, do you want to mention it? Talk about the issue that you had with the checks versus expenses?
Well,
Sarah Marie?
Sarah Layla.
I know. Why can't I change my name? Oh, I can change my name now.
Speak up. You're live.
Hi. Actually, Angela does all my QBO work, so I'm like really weak on it. But somebody on Facebook said that when he brings in the bank feeds, they don't come in as checks. And so they don't feed the 1099 program. So I'm like, what? So I started playing with the client that I knew had just written some manual checks. So I saw them on the bank feed, and they say the check number and everything. And I don't know who they're made out to or anything. So I didn't have anything to match them to. So I hit the plus, and I put in a vendor called Unknown Vendor that we can edit later, and I put in, ask accountant or whatever, and I put it in. Well, it said type check. When it goes into the check register, it changes to, it's not a check, it's an expense. Now, of course, I'm on the iPad and it wouldn't let me edit it, but it looks like Misha said you could edit it once it got to the checkbook and change it to a check. Or did we determine you couldn't do that? But the point is, why isn't the system, if they're coming in as checks, why aren't they being recorded as checks?
And why is a check and an expense different?
Well, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the way QBO looks at it is that if you do an enter bill and then pay the bill, it comes up as a bill payment check for the most part. But if you just enter it in as a check, they just consider it an expense. But what Misha was saying is that once you go in to edit the transaction, it's not necessarily editing the type of transaction, but it edits the payment method from credit card to check. So, because right now it says nothing. So once you hit check,
Well, that was on an ACH. She was going to go do a check, but all she had was an ACH to test it on. But
it's still, if it comes in as an expense, you still be able to change that payment method to check. But the question is, changing it to check, does that affect how it goes into the 1099 area?
Right. So, of course, I'm only using QBO for personal books. So, I don't know. Oh,
Yeah.
no, I could still pretend. I don't know.
I don't know why
Anyway, it's one of those surprises that, like somebody said, you're doing what is, you're adding it to the if you're doing write-up work or after the fact work. So apparently I added them to the checkbook and it said check and everything. I think it looks cool. And the next day Angela's like, who's been in my checkbook? And I'm like, boss lady, what I do? And she said that no. If he writes a manual check, you have to pull up the copy of the check, find out who it was made out to and the date, and put it in first, and then match it. Otherwise, it goes into other. And I'm like, sorry.
Yeah. So one of the solutions you could potentially do is you could potentially go in and enter all those checks, into the system, and then go in and enter everything that you added through the bank feed and delete them all, and then they will automatically match, and then you just hit match, and then you should be okay. But that's just depending on how many checks the person writes in a year, that can be.
That increases and takes your productivity down to
Well, like you said, if you know ahead of time how the QBO operates, you wouldn't have gone in and done add. If you have an issue with, for me, it doesn't matter because I don't do 1099s through their software. I just run reports, figure out the 1099s myself, and put them in a different software. But if it's something where you're anticipating on using that 1099 of the QBO Plus for the 1099 part of it, then obviously you want to enter the checks in the way QuickBooks wants you to.
Yeah.
Boy, QuickBooks Online really falls down as far as 1099s are concerned.
Yep.
I just went into my QBO. I haven't done it on my desktop in a long time. And it said, you have a new version. I said, okay, select a company. It has me listed 4 times. Available client 3, 4, 5, old parent. I named them do not use.
Good for you.
I got that guy where I did where I want to go check. He's in here listed twice. Oh, you know what? Step Up Savannah. These are clients I haven't had for 1,000,000 years.
So you'll have to call support.
What the hell? All right, I'm going to go in. I named myself use this. So when I go in, I know which account to use. Let me open that one, which should be my accounting firm. This program just makes me crazy. It says, we're sorry, you crashed. Oh, you should see my screen. QuickBooks has a problem, needs to be restored. Please press and hold shift over, and it has a big red exclamation point that says, we're sorry.
No, you're not.
Yeah, right.
Now, I'm clicking on the icon on my desktop, which I think is that app. I probably should forget that and just go to
Go in online and see what happens.
Go to a browser and do it.
Yeah, I would. Because you may have to upgrade that app then.
Yeah, forget that. I went the wrong way.
Now I am going to use that app. I tried it out for a while. And
I great at first.
But I ended up using the browser all the time because there were little buggy issues here and there, and I just didn't want to deal with it. But I do have a client that is very non-techy that I just moved them from Desktop 13 to QBO. I'll be installing the app on their laptop so they can go in that way.
Go to client. Because now that I'm on a computer versus an iPad, let me see if it
Looks different, plays
I
different.
took it. I still get lost. Okay, transaction? No. Where's the checkbook?
Okay, left side,
Banking?
transactions, banking, and then
Banking.
I just did it and I'm not having the same problem. It's coming in as a check.
it's coming
You-
in as a check and then gets
Mhm.
changed.
And it was a check that was not in the
Expense.
checkbook already?
It wasn't in the checkbook. I went to the person I know who doesn't do it at all. So
Yeah.
it came through the bank feed. I said to go ahead and add it in my ask pending questions account, and then
Yeah.
it came in as a check.
Okay.
I think it has a lot to do with the bank and the way the bank
Mhm.
All right.
reads it.
Let me see. Where is it? This one came in. Okay, this I see it says expense on it. That's the one. He had written a manual check to this contractor. Okay, so if I click on it, the expense is grayed out. I'm on the register.
Right?
Can I edit it? Pull this sucker open.
Yeah, you should.
Change the payment method to check. Because the reference number, the check number's there. Save.
I think Gina's right. It might be how the bank is pushing it in.
I think it is. They all do it
Okay,
differently.
so now
and
it
some are better than
it
others.
still says expense.
After you
Still says
changed it to
expense.
check?
All right, let me pull it back up.
Huh.
Payment method. Is there like a save button? Yeah, I did save. Check. Save. Expense 5208 is saved. It still thinks it's an expense. It's not saving it. Online banking matches. What else could I possibly do to this thing?
Huh.
And this is no, it's not one of the big boy banks. It's a local bank.
So that could be it.
All right, so you have one that came in. You just hit the plus sign and added it.
Yeah.
Let me
And
see if these are-
it too is it's not a big bank, it's a local bank too. And it's coming in as check. Let me
Well,
check
mine
something.
came in as a check. I mean, it said check. All right, how do you?
It's, yeah, usually it says check when it first comes in, but if you go to the register and you go to edit it, it's sometimes it's
Okay.
to say expense.
All right, so here's something that makes me crazy. All right, so I'm on this check. I just edited it, and then I must have said save and new because now I'm looking at a new expense screen. How do I get
Right.
back to the register?
Hit the X
Hit the X.
in the
Just
upper
close
right hand
the-
corner.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then you
Expense,
should be able to navigate around now.
it still says expense.
Still says expense?
So that's crappy.
Well, looks like feedback time.
Well, I'm
Our,
not gonna, like Joanne said, with somebody like this, he does have a little LLC, and I have to do 1099, but I'll do it another way. I'll do reports and figure it out.
right.
But as I look forward to getting that one day, whenever that we start moving to online, it's just not sophisticated enough. It's nowhere near. I don't think it ever will be what we need it to be compared to desktop.
Depending on what you're looking for,
Depending on
yes,
what we're
I
looking
agree. I don't know that online will be able to match all the features desktop does. And the other thing is the big thing is the banks and how they're bringing in the feeds. Because
There's no I blogged a couple of little new blogs and from bankers and stuff like that, and all these there's no consistent rules.
nope.
Do things their own ways.
Well,
And
they're
until they
used to that.
standardize the industry, the fraud's still going to be really bad, and we'll never be able to do this. This says manually added from bank fees. Okay.
Well, if it's a bank feed, it's not manually added. That's an oxymoron.
Well, how about calling disbursements expenses? That makes me crazy. All right, I pulled it back up. Payment method is check, but It is in the system as expense number 5208, and there's no way to edit it.
Wow.
All right, I'm doing it in my own file right now because I know I wrote a check for
Well,
my
Sarah,
rent.
and then Sarah having one that worked fine just doesn't. So what did I click?
It's the
wrong?
banks. I'm telling you, it's how the banks are bringing them in.
Okay,
I
so
don't think it's you.
They are
So
used
here's
to
mine
being the
right
banks,
now.
and you are not. So you do whatever they tell you you can and can't.
He hasn't written any more checks, Rod.
I'm doing one right now. I'm adding a check on the fly inside of the bank feeds. I changed to the payee, the check number. I'm going to hit rent because I know I paid for my rent. And I'm going to hit add.
Does it say check?
Hang on a minute. Yeah. It says
Okay.
transaction added.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let me go to the bank register. Drum roll, please. Everybody's dying to know. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now I got to find it.
Karen's in the other room going, why isn't she working on W-2s?
Okay.
She just
So-
yelled, I'm telling mom.
So mine, when I type in the search, when it shows like your last transaction entered,
Mm-hmm.
it says, hang on a second, I'm gonna find it. Okay, it says expense. When you go to the search thing,
Told you.
it says expense. So when I go to the transaction up at the upper left, it says expense.
Mm-hmm.
It says payment date, payment method. There's nothing, so I can
Right.
change that and put check. I don't think that makes a difference or
I
not.
think it makes a difference because I changed
It's still an
it.
expense.
Yeah,
It's still an expense, whether it makes a difference or
So
not.
what really is the difference between an expense and a check?
There is an expense can be a check,
Bank
a
charge.
charge, or cash. But the thing is that when it comes to the 1099 processing, they're looking for stuff that's coded, and it shouldn't just be check because you can pay somebody cash and have to 1099 them, or you can pay
Yeah.
somebody
Oh, right. So anything that's paid electronically, they don't want to
for
include.
credit cards. You can't, but if it's
Yeah,
still
but
ACH,
ACHs?
you still have to count, and cash
Still
you have to
count.
count.
So that's a
So-
fail on their part.
I guess I would have to. I guess I can't comment on whether it does or doesn't go into the 1099 part because I don't work plus and I don't do the 1099s that way. So I guess it would be double checking how that process works and actually see where the fault is in having it match up.
Well, maybe
It would
they'll
be-
fix this in the future by the time we,
I'll tell you what, go to,
I have
go
10
to
years till I
Stacy.
retire. I got to.
I know, right? Go to Stacy's group and put it there. There's a lot of Intuit people.
Well, I was going to say, Sarah, I would double check that and try to see if you can screen record where the issue is and maybe block out your client stuff if you don't want to see it, because I would love to see it. Maybe you and I can do it
Well,
off.
it's all over. We
screen.
were having the whole chit chat on which Facebook page was it? Hector's.
Yeah, well, we
Oh,
could, like I
yeah.
said, if you wanted to do a side thing, we could kind of walk through it off recording so that we can actually see where, and maybe we can put our heads together and figure out if there's a workaround or not.
Joanne, when you just did yours and you put it in as rent, what would you expect it to be listed as?
A check.
And I see, to me, it doesn't matter. I don't care. It's fine. So to me, that's fine having it come in as an expense and having it go into rent. But Sarah is saying that there's an issue. If it's not labeled a check,
Right.
it will not process for 1099s.
So it sounds like a coding area.
To me, it sounds like it's a
Mhm.
bank feed, like Sarah Prevost said. It sounds like
Mhm.
it's a bank coding thing.
Especially if hers did it.
The
and ours
OFX,
didn't.
the OFX file that comes
Yeah.
in from my bank is recording everything as an expense inside of QBO.
The thing is, and maybe I was dreaming it, Sarah. Did you see it said type check? Didn't it say type
Yeah.
check on it?
It's funny because I went back to see on the expense transactions,
Yeah.
just not in the bank transaction, the bank feeds, just to see, not even in the register, just to see how many expenses are coming in,
Yeah.
and it's labeled as check. And it doesn't make a difference because the other stuff that's come in are expenses, and then when there's an actual check, it says check and the check number. and it shows me how.
And you didn't key those checks in. You just added them from the bank fee.
No, I just added. Yeah, because it's.
And when you
notorious.
go into edit the transaction,
Mhm.
Can you edit it?
the upper left-hand corner says check.
Yeah, I'll pop right in. One
Yeah,
second.
let's see what it says.
Mine all say check.
It
Ooh, I
says
just got
check.
out.
It's
Sorry.
got it. It says it even like it says check and then the number.
That's weird.
Yeah,
No, I mean the upper here. I'll show you
Yeah,
on
the upper
mine.
left.
Let me
upper
show you on
left.
mine because I don't care.
Yeah, the upper left it does.
Let me just show you on mine. So this is the one I just entered in,
Okay.
right? So when I go into this,
Expense there.
see how it says expense?
Mine says check.
Yeah. See, and even when you move this to check, it doesn't matter. Like this does not
But you know
matter.
what? And the description came in check 1568, but it did not populate the reference number.
Oh, it's not going
Well,
to. Yeah. Well, so
it's
maybe if
Mine did.
you put a reference number, what does that do?
Well, mine populated that field.
Oh, see, my bank doesn't do that.
Mine does. So it's funny because I don't get the option of noting it as a check because it recognized it as a check.
Yeah.
So I really think it's on the bank feed side, but
I think it is too.
I think it's kind of funky that it doesn't allow you to do
Edit
the
it.
1099 thing.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, and I can't comment as to whether that's actually true or not because I haven't walked through that process because I use wagefiling.com for my 1099s and I just
Oh,
export to Excel and, I do my own vendor audit to see who gets paid over,
Yeah.
mhm,
I
mhm.
put a little the Folk Music Society on it because there's handwriting checks all the time, and I thought, I'm not screwing with it. But then again, I've always just hand keyed their 1099s,
right?
Because I never had their data.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of
Mhm.
times, especially like even with desktop clients, in addition to QBO, I always kind of double check how they paid them
Mhm.
to make sure, like if they didn't label it, was it with a credit card? Was it with an ACH?
Mhm.
I try to double check all that stuff to make sure we're not double counting any numbers and whether it's actually over 600.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Would y'all see my post on the other problem with the desktop W-2s?
No.
No.
The suffix field is 1 character wide, so Junior is J, and Fred the Third is I.
I did see that. Yeah.
Well, I heard chatter when we were like raising hell about losing our PDF writer or the printer function that Intuit is using a service now or maybe they always have, but maybe it's a new service. I don't know, but a service to handle all these hundreds of forms that they have to deal with, state, federal, whatever. So by I guess that's where the decision for only doing PDF came from, is in order to use that system, they're not doing it, the services, but apparently clear up to the last second, they were still having problems with the names not printing correctly and stuff like that. And that's one of the reasons why it was released so late. But I think they missed this.
They missed it on a lot of areas this year. They need some serious improvement happening.
So now I do know that if I export W-2s or 1099s and there's a period with the junior, like period and then junior or comma, that's what it was, a comma, because it's a comma delimited file when it comes out, it throws it
Way somewhere, huh?
yeah, it messes that up. But I don't know. But at least I use another program and I can tweak and get it happy before I'm done. I don't know how these bookkeepers are doing it when they're only using QuickBooks. They are just, it's like long addresses or you have a name, an LLC, an address, and it doesn't fit. It just simply doesn't fit. So how are people dealing with that? I guess I should quit worrying about everybody else.
Well, I don't know. I think Intuit doesn't really care about compliance that much these days. I think they care more about bringing money in.
Well, when the penalties get as high as $260 a form, I'm concerned. So we're being real aggressive this year with the names and all that. So, but the LLCs are the problems. You know, I love the W-9s. I'm an LLC. I'm a sole proprietor. And your mama named you Joe Smith Landscaping? Wow, that was really proactive.
She knew that when you were born. That's what you would do. Oh my goodness.
So, but we're in pretty good shape.
Good.
We're trying to do the really big boys first. And once those big multi-state nasty ones go out, then it's like
The onesie twosies become
assembly
nothing.
line. You know, if we've tested enough, it's just knocking them out. But
Right,
our
right.
families would stay healthy, and we would stay healthy.
Oh, nasty bug going around. It's all the way across the United States now.
Yeah, I finally
Stomach bug going around.
Oh,
that, and I'm missing a wake. I had a friend die yesterday morning, so I'll go
Oh,
to
I'm
the funeral
sorry.
tomorrow. But man, it's rough when they're your age, you know. It's rough anyway, but it hits especially hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But somebody was gonna show us Airtable today, and I guess she was in the car, wasn't she, Joanne?
You mean Veriplan?
Yeah, she is driving. Joanne, you're muted. Let's see if we can unmute
Yeah,
you.
no, that was for my Zoom that I had. So yeah, she said she was going to put it in our private group,
Yeah.
and when she gets a chance to do that. But Airtable is like it's
a
kind of
database.
like Smart Sheets on
Yeah, but
steroids.
how? Because that's where I was like, because I've looked at it a couple times. Maybe I'm not thinking out of the box enough, but I mean, Dennis is the one that knows databases. So
Okay, so
it's a good database, but how would you use that for checklists and I don't know.
I know Seth had mentioned it, and I've just sort of glanced at it. I just haven't had time.
Looks cool. And the other one I want to do, I said to Mariette, was the my after busy season squirrel is Guru. And
Guru, you said?
Guru. There are wikis that you can get where you are knowledge management. They call them knowledge management programs or help desk programs. I mean, if you start looking in that genre, because what I want is a database of how to do things, you know, all those things that we repeat. If I have to repeat one more time what an LLC is, I think I'm going to scream. So what this does is this sits in your browser and you create boards and cards of information. And so you or your staff or whatever, no matter what device or whatever you're on, you can search for something and immediately copy and paste or send a link. Or I mean, it's great, especially with my little program for troubleshooting. I'd like to have a whole troubleshooting thing because I tend to say the same thing over and over and over. So it's a wiki. It's an internal knowledge base thing that you would then share externally. The other thing I've been looking for is one that's also external, meaning membership only could search their own stuff. Like if you were a client of mine, you could go to this knowledge base and see, you know, how for nonprofit issues and stuff like that. But I think the external that's where the real high prices start coming in. But internally, this Guru thing looks really cool. It's called Get Guru. If you go getguru, GURU.com, and it's probably the more affordable ones. There's always something to look at, isn't there?
Never ends.
Never ends, right. And more coming too. I mean, I'm hearing mergers that I'm liking. Trello and HipChat.
Yeah, Trello and
Artisan, was it?
yeah, they got bought out by
Who are the makers of HipChat?
mhm.
'Cause I
You
think
know,
that's
the Pebble watch. Have you heard it?
Oh, I
That
know.
was-
Like
that
the week
was-
after I bought my Pebble
Yeah, that got bought out by Fitbit.
Fitbit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a
Mark's like, you
Pebble.
want to take it back? And I'm like,
Good luck on the support.
yeah, I know. But I didn't. The Fitbit was making me. The rubber on the band was just causing rashes and stuff.
Really?
So,
Which Fitbit did you have? The Charge?
the charge, yeah, or
That's what I have.
HR, H,
Yeah, heart rate, yeah.
or, yeah, and so I don't think this has a heart rate, but at least I can see it for one thing, and it's leather, but I don't know. I don't know. Where did Penny go? Karen. Angela brought her dog today, so they've been like playing. Yeah, she's pouting because her friend left. Either that or she's out cold because they didn't stop all day.
So how old
We're
is
out
Penny?
just-
How old is,
A tired
is
dog is
Penny?
a good dog.
how old is Penny?
Penny will be 7 this summer.
So by dog years, what's that dog years?
Yeah, she's starting to get a white,
Right.
real
Yeah.
white face and slow, but she's still pretty.
Different sized dogs have different life. Yeah.
Did you see the picture of Seth when he was getting ready to leave to go teach his Excel?
And you saw the tinkle on the floor. Oh my gosh, I was cracking up. Oh my gosh.
I was in such a rough mood this morning. I was all cranky and everything. I saw that piddle on the floor and I just could not stop laughing. That's what
The
happens when you
fun
take a
of
selfie.
dog
You
ownership.
don't look at the picture before you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Somebody said, do you see the puddle on the floor? And he's like, I see it now. There's Sarah's.
There's
guy.
Sarah's boy.
Yeah, he just came in from the outside.
He's
He
not
came
in
to
here.
Say hi. He's all wet from the snow.
Where is she?
Oh, she's right there.
I ask you all the time. His name again?
It's Archie.
Archie.
My
Archie
dog's under
Bunker.
my desk. I didn't know it. Well, why isn't she sleeping on her stupid bed, dumb dog?
All right.
My dog's like, "Bleh."
Exhausted.
Oh, man.
Well, I'm going to change the subject real quick. Larry. Is
Yes.
Larry with us?
Yes, yes,
You just saw a movie.
yes, yes. Very good. Hidden Figures.
Hidden
Highly-
Figures?
Yes, I highly recommend it.
This is the one where they showcase the black women in NASA.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I am looking forward to it. We can
Yeah.
talk about
That's
it.
on
now.
our list. That's on our list.
Misha was on earlier and she said, Larry, no spoiler alert. Larry was good, but she's not here, so we can talk about it now.
Excellent. No, excellent. I highly recommend it. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I would say one of the things that I don't recall ever seeing it before. At the end of the movie, where they show the credits,
Mhm.
Oh, Julian doesn't This is not a spoiler alert.
all right, I'll just say it was highly recommended. Okay,
But we should pay attention to the credits.
take some
At the end.
take some
Yeah.
tissues with you.
Pay attention to the credits.
Well, at the end of the movie, I thought that was a nice touch.
Okay.
But take some.
We always stayed to the last. My husband. We sit there through. Sometimes they throw little things in there if you wait.
Well,
my wife
apparently
strongly-
they did.
Yeah, my wife strongly insisted that we go see it because initially, the movies lately, I don't know what you guys think. Not that I've seen a lot, but they pretty much most of them stink. And
Yeah.
oh no, another movie. And she said, "Yeah, I want to see it." And I said,
We
"Okay."
go once a year we drive out to where it's cooler and pooler. Pooler, Georgia.
Oh,
They have a IMAX.
oh, wow. Yeah.
It's expensive. I mean, it's like $40 to go to a
Nice.
movie.
Well, those are the high def ones, though, the IMAX.
Yeah, so it's 3D, high def, big padded seats. You got your latte because they've got their little coffee shop before you get in there that you can get a beer.
Jeez.
And so yeah, it's so Hobbit, Gravity. What was the one we saw? Rogue One. You know, if it's something like that where you know,
I bet
sort of like the
Gravity was fun.
whole thing. But if we can watch it on DVD later on.
Yep.
But
All righty. Well, what else do we want to talk about? We were going to talk about Berry Plan, but we lost Mariette.
I figure I'll watch it on YouTube. I saw they had some YouTube videos on it.
Okay.
on what? The
Veriplan, it was like Mariette was using it for, I think, tax projections, and I was kind of curious how that. But I see on YouTube there's a 18-minute video on taxes, so I think I'll watch it there.
that was the other one she was using, Veriplan.
You know what?
Yeah, we don't have that many that have to do estimated payments, but we have one who keeps doing better and better every year. And so she raises hell about these taxes. And I'm like, but that means that you're, where everybody else went under in 2008, you guys
Or
not only
Rocket.
survived, but
What kind of
Deb Kilsheimer.
it's
to
plumbing
give her a pep
supplies.
talk.
what kind of business is it?
Plumbing supplies.
Oh,
And they
okay.
have exploded. They moved to a busier road and made a showroom with big windows and all that. And so their retail, see, they never had retail before. They always had just wholesale. And it just went crazy. But so yesterday she was like, you have our numbers yet? Are you in yet? And I'm like, I've never done them this early. I'm trying to do W-2s. And she's like, I need to do this. I'm like, okay. And so, and she's like, I just have to see how big this tax bill is going to be. And sure enough, she's made estimated payments.
Well,
So,
that is.
I'm going to call her CPA and go, just
What's
a little
happening
heads up, because she's done this to other CPAs before, and say, I know you gave her a schedule with her tax return on what estimate she was supposed to make. So just be prepared that, because she'll go, nobody told me I had to do that.
And she's used to the CPA getting her out of trouble at the end of the year. So
Well, she just pays all the penalties and everything, but I don't know. It's just, do what you're told.
hey, Yvette.
Hi, how's everybody doing?
Good. How are you?
Yes.
Good.
Anything
Glad
you
it's
want to?
Friday.
Yeah, I know. Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah.
So are you ready? Are you lost in 1099s and W-2s, or
I'm getting there.
you're getting there?
Yeah, I'm going to be pretty.
Halfway through.
Yeah, I'm going to get all of them done next week.
Nice.
Hopefully it all goes well.
Nice.
Don't they have to be done by the end of the month?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a new rule. I mean, you have to have it to the IRS by the end of the month, too.
Yep.
That's the problem.
Yeah. And with all these fun things that are happening with QBO, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine that called me. I have a friend of mine that called me yesterday. She's a CPA. And she says, hey, do you know what happened to the budget versus actual with classes report? And I'm like, well, it should be still there. So I went up and checked, and you can't run it by class. They kind of got rid of it.
They just got rid of it?
Why would they?
They don't
do
know what
that?
happened, but I talked to a bunch of people at QBO, and my friend talked to her. She was really disappointed because she's got a nonprofit that, you have to show it by class, and she's got a board meeting coming up next week on Monday. And so they finally got back to her again, and they said, yeah, you could run it, but you have to import the data for 2000 for that year that you wanted it. So I don't know, but it's really strange. And the other thing I noticed, like when I used to use, when I use QuickBooks Online, when we get a vendor, there'd be a box to check that it's a 1099 vendor. And yesterday I was entering a new vendor in one of my clients' file, and it wasn't there anymore.
Really?
Essentials does not have it. You need Plus.
It's not Essentials, it's Plus. I'm on Plus.
Really?
You're on Plus.
I'm in one right now. Vendors.
Do you see the box?
Okay. Let's edit this guy.
Yes, I missed it.
It should be right on the front screen. Yeah, in the lower right.
Track for 1099.
It is in there?
So I wonder if they got bumped down to the lower
Maybe.
version.
You never know. I got to check.
How would you know?
Yeah, I mean, for the most
think
part,
it was
I've been very
possible.
happy with QBO. Sometimes you get glitches. Hey,
Right,
Sarah,
right.
and can you do a budget?
Oh. Okay. First I'd have to put in a budget, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Hold on.
Budget versus actual with classes.
All
Do you
right.
have one there?
This one, he does use classes a lot. All right,
Okay.
budgeting. This will mess him up. Create a budget. Let's see if it'll let me do by class. Actual, no amounts, copy. Okay, create it from scratch. Next. By classes. Well, if
It
you can put
does.
it in. Budget name.
Classes is there?
Yep.
Okay.
Test class budget.
Must
2007.
have put it back in because last night we had a lot of people working on it.
All right, and then where do you go? It says finished. Oh, okay. Oh, and there's it blew me out. Oh, God. All right, let me go back. Budgeting. So I would think oh, there it is. Okay, so let's see. How about his rent? Rental income for this class. Yeah, up at the top, you change the class to that LLC. Okay, and then rental income. I don't know what his rental income is, but let me just stick something in there. All right, and then you can
Go to reports.
across, and then save and next. Okay, so if I come over to, are you done? Yeah.
Reports.
Reports, and go to budget versus actual.
Uh-huh.
And then the budget is test class budget. Okay. And oh my God. Oh, it's because he's got so many of them. Okay.
Did it do it?
It's doing the whole year. So the budget's 18. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So I wonder if something happened to their file of that.
So,
No, it wasn't. Because I even tried it on one of mine.
well, how do you
And
change
then
the date?
I think what they did is they did something because she got an email last night and she forwarded it over to me. And she said they must have been working on it because they said now you can, but you have to redo everything.
You can edit the date page, can't you?
So anyways, I guess now they got it up again.
Wait a minute. What if I want to see just last month? I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, they've made some changes to some of the reports, but I think what's going to happen is probably, the people will start calling in and say, hey, and I don't think they realize that some of the reports.
Well, this is a problem because it's not saying that the budget for last month was 1,500. It's saying the budget for the year is 18,000, and actual is through what date? I don't know because it says January through December at the top.
So it's giving you the whole year, giving you actual for, 1 month because it's January.
Yes.
And then the budget's yearly.
Period to compare. It says over budget, percentage of budget, active rows or non-active. Which budget do you want to do? And I'm looking at the cog wheel. It just says compact. There's no where do you put it the date? Well, that's a problem. She might be right.
They're probably going to fix it, because yesterday when we were on the phone, you couldn't even pull up that report.
Customize. Hold on. I found another button.
Oh, I thought you were in customize.
Okay. So if I change the, okay, so maybe 010117 run report. Okay, 1500. Yeah, 15 to 15. Okay.
So it's working. Is it working?
Mhm.
Okay.
Sorry, I missed a green button.
Well, that's good. Because they're trying to figure it out yesterday.
All right. So Bruce's rent. Wait a minute. Today's January. Maybe I didn't come in yet. Now I'm curious about where this guy's rent is.
Dennis, quick question. You were talking, we were talking earlier about databases for, your tax clients and where they are and all of that.
Mhm.
What would be wrong with using Microsoft Access?
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, I actually have a lot of experience with Access when I was in the corporate world. The thing I like about the database is that you can do a lot of queries and you can, create fields off the queries. So actually, I prefer Access for heavy data management, but Excel's pretty easy to, for really quick stuff.
Yeah.
I tell you what I've been liking a lot lately, and I just got turned on to it about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, and that's Insightly. And I am loving Insightly. It's basically a CRM, helps track your sales pipeline in addition to a task management delegation software all built in.
Nice.
And it has a Chrome extension that can allow you to automatically add contacts, leads, opportunities, and tasks right inside of your Gmail.
Oh, nice.
So I am currently still working on building it out and stuff, but there's so much potential to it. I'm sure it's going to take me probably another good month and a half to get everything in that I need to, but I think that is definitely going to be the way that I'm going to be moving forward. I've been tracking it. I haven't been missing anything. Everything's, I love it.
Nice.
As far as CRM and task management goes.
Awesome. We'll have to ask you. To be continued.
TBC, right? To be
Continued. Yep.
To be continued. TBC.
Sarah Prevost. Question for you. How do you like paper in Dropbox?
I like it.
You like it?
I do. Do you?
I like that option is there, but I have to say that I put a comment to you and I thought that I posted it and I don't see it.
Oh, you have to hit post.
I did.
Oh, okay. Well,
And it's not there. But that I probably did it on my old computer. So I'm wondering if that had something to do with it.
I don't know.
So yeah, I'll have to go in and respond again.
Okay.
Hi, Christy.
Hey.
We have a little one with us.
This is Abby.
Hi,
Got
Abby.
home from school.
Hi, Abby.
Come to see what your mom is doing?
And Mom, can you make me chocolate milk? Bubba can make you chocolate milk.
I love kids. The whole world is right now. So what's happening, Christy? Wanna talk about something before we sign off in the next couple minutes?
No, I just thought I'd pop in and say hi. I hadn't been in one for a while, and I couldn't remember what time it was. If it was 2:30 or 3:30 my time. So now I know.
Okay. Well, are you ready for 1099 and W-2 deadlines?
I am done with my W-2s.
Oh.
Good for you. Gee.
And I am almost done with my 1099s. I've got 2
I
clients left.
hate you.
Well, good for you.
Now, did you go
are-
ahead and e-file? I mean, you're not only for your client, your copies, and all that, you've already e-filed your state in your feds?
Yeah. I'm in Washington State, so I only have feds. We don't have the state.
Just
So
state
what are you
sales.
using? Are you using QBO? Are you
I'm
using
using
desktop?
Intuit Online Payroll for accountants for my W-2s and handling all my payroll stuff. And everybody is electronically filed. I don't use them if they need paper.
Do you do their quarterlies or do you use the full service? You do the
No,
quarterlies?
I do their stuff. I do everything. I process their payroll and then pay their taxes and file the forms and everything. And then for 1099s, I also use Intuit Online Payroll for accountants because there's a contractor for accountants. So I can do it through there for $15 if I pay the contractors through there, or I just use
echo happening. Does somebody
Yeah, how's that happen?
this on twice? I'm not seeing who.
Yvette's computer.
Mine? Really?
Yvette, sorry, I'm gonna mute you for a minute.
Yeah, go ahead. Really?
Okay, see if that helps.
Okay. Can you just hear me once now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So for 1099s, I just use Track 1099 for most of them, except for the ones where I've been paying the contractors through the payroll, Good Online Payroll, and then I'm using the 1099 payment service through there.
Gotcha.
And I just don't have a ton. So that's the other thing. I'll only do payroll for somebody if they're also paying me to do their bookkeeping. I don't do standalone payroll. So
Got it. So what else would we like to talk about before we sign off for the day? Anything? Anybody else have any subjects they want to talk about? I think we covered everything that we were going to talk about at the beginning, except for the Very plan, which has to wait until next week. Oh, Dennis,
Yes.
you have your e-signature fixed. Are you able to sign on and get transcripts?
Actually, I still couldn't get on, so finally I just called the IRS, and much to my amazement, they were actually able to help me pretty quickly, I think. I'll find out in a couple of days if I could still get on. They told me it was fixed.
And you were able to get on?
Well, I think until after maybe Monday or Tuesday I'll know for sure, because I think they gave me like 30 days, and I think they sent the letter on the 12th of last year.
So we are on the 13th now.
Yeah, so I haven't tried to get on yet, but I was hoping that I could still get on.
So you
I use all the time for getting transcripts for clients.
They said that's down. Well, to file for 1099s is down until the 17th.
Bye, Yvette.
Bye.
Yeah, I tried to e-file a 1040 return that my client had completely forgot about doing. I thought she'd gone somewhere else, and so it's like.
I think you love those calls.
Well, I was kind of surprised to get a letter from her with her document saying sorry she'd forgotten all about the taxes, and she didn't know anything, but I thought maybe she had gone somewhere else or maybe was doing it herself, and so I wasn't that concerned about it. And then tried to e-file it and said that it was down for a couple of weeks. So I'm going to try again after maybe towards the end of the month, see if it.
Well, you know what I did wrong? I couldn't figure out how to do the tin matching because I want to test these 1099s before I'd put 1,000 of them up there. And they had given me a different login when I did my verify, and I'm like, I have so many logins, it's just mind blowing. So after 2 hours on that god awful Muzak, the lady said, "Oh no, you should just been able to go to your regular e-file login, which is where my 941 authorization is or something." So, but apparently, if you don't go in all the time, then why would I go in? I put it, But anyway, if you don't go in all the time and change your password, they'll
You get
lock you
locked
out, and either it didn't recognize it and I did it wrong, or I would. But it hadn't been 6 months, so I didn't know. But like an idiot, I clicked, lost my password. That immediately really locks you out, and then it walks you through this whole thing, and then you have to wait for snail mail.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've had
That's where I am right now. I'm waiting for snail mail. I had to do the
Snail
same thing.
mail.
oh.
I've had that happen a couple
I'm like,
times.
oh, I can't believe I did that. So, but she said that if I'd gone in there, they have registration, then they have application, and then so I don't have to re-register, but I have to apply for a different service.
I still don't understand what it's all even for.
All I know is my 1099 program will make text files for me that I can upload to the tin match, and then they will tell you, yay, no.
Oh, so
If
but
the-
yeah, but I mean, as far as the letters that everybody was getting saying you need to verify yourself,
Yeah, that I did fine.
it's so confusing because it's like the one thing I don't even know if I got a letter because I can't find it. So I
Yeah, but you know what she told me? She said, "Oh, that letter, that's to verify you personally."
yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
That doesn't
so-
have anything to do with your e-filing. They shouldn't even call it e-file.
Well,
That's
it's
what I'm
really,
saying. Can I still file tax returns? It's like I don't understand. So
Well,
anyways, I spent 3.5 hours over 2 days on hold, never got through to anybody.
Wow.
Finally, Misha helped me try to log in. And so I finally got logged into e-services, but I just have to wait for the email. But I still, once I get that, then I think I can click to do the whole transcript thing. And I was like, I don't even know why I'm doing this, but somebody's telling me I have to do it.
Yeah.
Well,
I
what
have a
happened
different
was
login for
they
transcript.
changed it because of all the problems they're having with identity theft on the.
But it makes no
Sure.
sense to why is it so confusing that they're saying, well, if it's for I've
It
never
is
even
confusing.
requested a transcript before, so I've never had to go into that. So it's just confusing to me why I need to go in there now just to verify myself.
Yeah, it's confusing.
And so what's going to happen? So say, for example, devil's advocate, say I never do this. Like, how would that, is it going to be when I go to e-file my returns, they're going to kick back at me through my tax software? It's like, what's going to stop me from e-filing returns?
My 941.
Well, it looks like they might still be not up by then, too.
That's what I'm wondering. I don't know. To be continued.
Again, that's your whole everything today, Joanne.
Everything's TB. Yep, that's right. And right now it's to be continued because I got to go make my own fish.
All righty. We're going to end the show on that note.
Well, ask me about Beanworks next week.
Pardon?
Ask me about Beanworks.
Beanworks. Ooh, okay.
I'm trying to find a competitor to Bill.com.
Ah, got it. Got it. Will do.
All right.
All righty. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe in those snow states.
It's just really cold here. No snow.
I got all the windows open.
Cold.
It's awesome.
It is cold. Seattle, cold.
It's cold and snowy.
I hate
Totally
snow.
jealous. Talk to you later.